So before I took the medication, my nerves were oscillating between maybe 200 miles an hour and 100 miles an hour. And when I took the medication, nerve cycles were still there, but they were 55 miles an hour and 100 miles an hour. In other words, it put it down at a different lower level.
That's
and it was just like adjusting an idle screw on an old-fashioned carburetor. And I could actually hear a neighborhood mechanic doing that. And he said he was going to make that motor sing. And I thought we were going to get music out of it. I was like 7 years old. You see, originally, before the Asperger diagnosis came out, and I know there's controversies about the background of that doctor, but before that happened, autism, you had to have speech delay. There had to be speech delay, which I definitely had. So I had severe speech delay. And now you've got the people that have the autistic traits, but there's no obvious speech delay. And so that's going to be half the computer people in Silicon Valley, probably. You know, a little bit on the autism spectrum.
There's a contradiction between those labels, because, for instance, I have dyslexia and autism, and I always wonder how that works, because you know you have, like, as you say, bottom-up processing and top-down processing in terms of seeing the bigger picture or the detail first. And I think I see both, but still neurodivergent. Do you know how that might work?
Well, the thing is, there's different. You know, I've done all this stuff where I showed brain scan research in the autistic brain, and that's been one of my better selling books around the world.
Yeah,
the people that are on the spectrum resonate with that. Now let's look at language delay.
Okay.
There's kind of 3 different ways the brain handles that. I had trouble getting my speech out. That was expressive language, and some brain scan data explained some of that, like I had less fibers. But I also had some auditory processing problems, because when I was a little kid and the adults talk super fast, just went, that's all I heard. Then you've got the kid who's echolalic, who will recite lines out of a movie script, but they have absolutely no idea what the lines mean. But nice, clear speech is coming out. That's a different mechanism than auditory processing, where you might be hearing sort of garbled speech. And then another thing where you can't get the speech out, you know, expressive language. And I proposed with the people at the University of Pittsburgh, you know, let's do a research, see if we can diagnose with brain scans echolalic, where clear language comes out, but they don't know what it means, versus some of the other types, and got rejected. You see, there's still a thing in a lot of people where they think everybody's the same. And you take the kids that are the middle of the road kind of mixtures of thinking, yeah, you can kind of do a one size fits all. But you get that extreme object visualizer or that extreme mathematician. They need to be moved ahead in the area that they're really good at.
With these, like, high achievers such as yourself, Elon Musk, you know, all the kind of greats, would you say that we potentially could be moving beyond diagnosis labels, or maybe they're not that useful? Because I do think they hold us back.
Well, let's look at, you have the ones where there's speech delay.
Yeah.
And one of the bad things that's happening right now, I just was out in a very rural part of the US. And let's say if a 3-year-old is not talking, they're waiting 2 years to even get a diagnosis, to get services. We know with those little ones that are not talking, we need to be working on them like now. Don't wait. That's very bad.